Square Hammer.
What is up, Square Hammers? What is up, YouTube? I am here to talk about Warhammer the Old World. Now, this is the Tomb Kings reveal where they reveal the boxes and uh, the book and some other new goodies. So this is the Tomb Kings and Bretonnian core boxes. We get to see the contents of these boxes, how there's like big army boxes instead of just like a whole bunch of little ones, which I'm sure they'll probably do as well. So as you see, they say there's no single launch box. So it's not like a combined box where they used to, every other edition where they had High Elves and Empire, or Dwarves and Lizardmen, or Bretonia and Lizardmen. And I think they started doing these in, I'm going to say, I think it was 4th edition when they had the old Lizardmen. I think that was the first one. Clear so far? You can hear me? Awesome. So it initially started, was it 4th or 5th edition when they did the Bretonnian and Lizardmen way back in the day? I think it might have been 5th edition. Let's go to about here. Okay, so let's see. What do they talk about? What's up, guys? Yeah, hopefully not, Harvey. Yeah, hopefully not. Okay, so I know this was leaked earlier on Facebook. No, that wasn't me. You can clearly see the Tomb Kings. We have the Tomb King on foot. We have the Lich Priest or Tomb King that can ride the dragon. 5th edition. Thanks, Brad. You have 2 units of 8 skeleton horsemen and 2 units of 15. It looks like spearmen, and then it looks like 20 archers, or probably 16 archers. I think that's 8 and 8, and then 3 chariots. So it looks like a decent box. You get a lot of foot troops, which is useful. 3 chariots. Tomb Kings has always been known for their chariots. The only thing I'm a little worried about are the 16 cavalry, because Tomb King cavalry has always been lacking, no matter what edition I've played. If you play 6th, 7th, or when was it? 7th, 7th, 8th, and even in Warhammer's Armies Project. I don't know about 9th Age, but even in Warhammer's Armies Project, their cavalry is just very poor. They die super easily because they have like no save, and they can't really march, so they don't really get to take advantage of the full cavalry, being cavalry. And you couldn't fall back, fire and flee like in Warhammer's Armies Project and those stuff like that. Okay, so we'll see. But the Bretonnian one looks solid, looks very good. You have 12 Knights of the Realm or Knights Errant. You have, I think it's 20 archers, 16 archers, and turn this alarm off over here. Oh, time to feed the dogs. But I did it before because I knew I was going live. 16 archers, 20 men-at-arms, which seemed like they're going to be strong now, and it's mandatory in all of the not armies of infamy. It's mandatory to take either 1 unit of men-at-arms or 1 unit archers, so that's a good fulfillment. Then you have 3 Pegasus, and then either the Bretonnian Lord, I think they call him a Duke, or BSB. It says in the article that you can build either one, which is cool. And, oh, look, the book! Never seen that before. So, some people don't like the blue. I don't know about y'all. Do y'all like the blue? Some people like or it's like a teal, turquoise kind of thing. A lot of people are hating on it because it's not the classic red. I'm cool if it's blue or red, whatever. It does go well with the gold. Blue and gold always looks pretty strong. I do like the new emblem because it has Gal Maraz, but it's surrounded by so many different armies and their shields or weaponry. I think that's cool. It used to just be Gal Maraz with like the flame of like the comet behind it, so that's at least unique. They went somewhere different with that. Okay, so this is what's interesting. So it says the rulebook will be sold separately. So but it also says, I think it comes with it. Baron. Get transfer sheets. You get defensive stakes, which is great. Yeah, okay. So it says you get this rulebook that I just showed below. You get a 4-page reference sheet, which is hopefully that's really nice. Hopefully it's it covers basically all the to hit chart to wound chart, maybe the gunpowder exploding, maybe even the Winds of Magic miscast table, and I don't know what else it could actually cover. You wouldn't put Lores and Magic on there; they're too extensive. Okay. You get 20 d6 dice. I'm sure they're just the classic. I'm guessing they're white or red based on older editions. 1 scatter dice, so scatter dice. You get 3 templates, which is great, and 2 classic. So those are like the whipping sticks. It's hilarious, and transfer sheets. I guess it's the transfer sheets for both these, so I don't know why they reference them again, but it doesn't really matter. Does anyone else feel that? Okay, so they just redid all of Lizardman, right? And all of, well, Seraphon, whatever, and all of Slaves to Darkness for Age of Sigmar. Like, and they look gorgeous. Like, the new ones look great for both armies, and I've seen them both put together, assembled, painted. They're beautiful. I've seen them put on 25s, but I don't know if they're going to be on 25s this upcoming edition. So I've seen them on 25s, but they are kind of hard to maneuver around. What's up, Jonesy? Brad, no, scatter dice, but no artillery die. It should. That's a good point. No artillery die. Maybe it's in there. They just forgot it. I mean, they could have just not put it there on accident, or it's just not in there. One of the two. Let's see. You do get more miniatures for the Tomb Kings, obviously, because they cost less points. But it does say later in the sheet, or actually, it's right here. This is 1,250 points. Now, I don't know if that's with magic items or not. I'm guessing not, so it's with no upgrades whatsoever, no commands, nothing like that. So most armies, I don't think you will see 2 units of cavalry for Tomb Kings. You will see more chariots or more archers or more of the stuff that's, I assume, that will eventually come back out, like the War Sphinx and the Necro Sphinx, and then Tomb Scorpions and the big Bone Giant. Let's see, maybe the scatter dice are for the vortex spells. Could be, could be. I really love the Bone Giant. He looks sweet. I'm like I said, I might not put the wings on, or I'll cut off like these 3 bones right here, so he still has like an arm coming off, and make him a like a gator, like a Nile crocodile. I think that'd be cool. So a lot of people have been talking online about the price of this, and everyone says anywhere from $200 to $300. That's probably a good guess, but it might be more just because the book. The book usually, let's see, how much are 40K books now? If you bought the Army book and it was, how much is it, like 352 pages hardback? I mean, that book, if they sold it by itself, is like, what, $60, $80 probably. And usually when you buy a box set now, like the Battle Forces, I think it's like 110 or like 140, and it's basically you get 1 free unit. If you like bought them separately, it's as if you got one of those units for free, or like the character for free, something like that. Is that the Lord? Is that a Lord for the bone? Yeah, it's either a Lich priest, or Tomb King on the Bone Dragon. And I think you can only build either or so you could just magnetize the dude and use it as whatever you want to. What's up with Tomb Kings and flails? I don't know why they have so many flails in this new edition. Like this prince right here has the flail, and then we'll scroll down later and you see another flail. I don't think Egyptians used many flails. They used a lot of whips, but I don't know if they use many flails. Maybe they're just going a different direction with it. Let's see. I want to pull up like some of the differences in how they look. So I brought up some of my miniatures. So if I go, let's go to browse, desktop. Where are you at, desktop? And we pull up like this guy. Oh, I got to resize it every single time. Boo. That's a nuisance, isn't it? Yeah, you're gonna have to do it every time. Boo. That's annoying. Okay, well, so as you can see, I'm gonna turn my background off. Let's do that. Gotta do that on Zoom. 1 second. Don't like. Problem is, oh, well, maybe I can just try it. Can y'all see it? No, you can't see it for. Boo. 1 second. Pretty sure if I remember right, rulebooks and Astaris books were about 120 Australian dollars. $80? Oh yeah, that's just for the rulebook itself, right? You think the flails look cool? I mean, they look unique. They just look when they have like, if it was a single flail and not a triple flail or larger, I feel like that's too much. How do you change your background? There it is. Blur my background. Choose virtual background. I don't want one. Hey, there we go. Okay, now you can see. So, as you can see, this is like the BSB. Hold on, let me shrink this. Shrinkage. I have some shrinkage problems. Okay, so this was the Pegasus that I use for my BSB if I put them on Pegasus. The new one looks, it's just a better stance. It looks like he's actually roaring up, which is pretty cool. I like their banner. It's a little bit deeper, I guess, or a little bit longer in length. You can probably put a cool crown on there just like that. I should get a. Y'all think I should get a better camera? Should probably get a better camera, or don't focus on me in my jacket chair. But that's what I think of that. Enhance. Yeah, I should probably get a better webcam for when I do these. Old art of Tomb Kings had a lot of flails on their characters. Did they? Okay, I might have just missed that. Let's continue on. Let's see. So back to the rulebook. Like I said, some people don't like the blue. Some people prefer the red. But maybe the red was harder to do with all the extra weapons. You could just change them a different color. But who knows why they chose blue? Something different, I suppose. Stand out. Okay. So this is what's interesting to me. I'm glad Heavy Metal Studio is painting it. Good job. Forces of Fantasy and the Ravening Horde. So all 9 factions in the game will be available as soon as they launch, which is great. A lot of people, you assume that because you wouldn't just want to put out Bretonians and Tomb Kings and then have everyone else just like twiddling their thumbs waiting for their book to be released. So it's either in the Forces of Fantasy, which seems like a really weird name, and the Ravening Hordes. Ravening Hordes sounds great for evil because in 6th edition they had the Ravening Hordes book and it had like every single faction in there and it was cool. I think Forces of Fantasy is I don't know, it seems weird. It's like Forces of Fantasy could be good or evil. So at least Ravening Hordes, like Ravening is like, rawr, like you still at least put some like evil intentions, but Forces of Fantasy seems kind of weird to me. Both about 192, 160 page book. So the good has dwarves, empire, Bretonia. So why is Bretonia? Okay. Dwarves, empire, Bretonia, wood elves, and high elves. So what other good are they missing? You don't see ogres, so that doesn't mean they're neutral or evil, because you can see in the evil one you have orcs, warriors, beastmen, and tomb kings. So right away when you read the good, you don't see lizardmen. Is that because they just released the Seraphon? Are they not here yet? Are they not like exposed? I don't know. Yep, lizards, 100%. 35 per army. Can't be with order. Age of Sigmars. Oh, Age of Sigmar is red right now? Okay. Let's see. So what else is missing other than high elves, wood elves? Hold on. You don't see Kislev. Oh, that's a big one. They did have all that art and everything, but there's no Kislev. So maybe there'll be an army of infamy? It's possible. But yeah, there's no Skaven. Like, so, okay, let's go down. I don't know any other good ones that I'm missing. Hold on, I'm looking at the map. Lizardmen. There's no one else good on this side except Lizardmen. You have some Wood Elves there, and some of the forests that are connected. High Elves. Obviously, it's opposite from what y'all are looking at because I'm doing it from my view. Bretonia, Wood Elves, Empire, like Border Princes, Cathay, End maybe. So there's no Cathay yet. There's no. They didn't open up to all of them, so there's just 9, right? Okay. So Araby, there's no Araby. Halflings, yeah, I guess. So okay. So now if you go to evil, you have, and it does say, I did like this earlier. I think it was somewhere in this article. It spoke about how this is also going to come as a PDF. So I don't know how you get it as PDF compared to buying this. Obviously, it comes in the big box. Maybe you can't buy this separately. Maybe it only comes in the big box. I don't know. I hope they make a mini rulebook like they did in 8th edition. That thing was awesome, so you didn't have to lug this around all the time. I know there was a question about, did the big book have lore in it? You can clearly see it has 70 pages of background for the time in the lore, and I think it's 300-ish years in the past from before the end times. But you can do an EPUB version, which is great if you want to have it on a iPad or whatever. So okay, back to evil factions: Orcs and Goblins, Warriors of Chaos, Beastmen, and Tomb Kings. So there's no Skaven and there's no vampire counts. Now I think on the PDF, not PDF, on the article that spoke about, like what factions will also be included, and it say there'll be PDF versions, they're not here. So I assume they're just going to start with this, see how the meta is playing, make sure the rules are correct or what have you, and then update from there. I think they should have released Skaven and vampire counts at the same time. They are huge when it comes to the fluff, and their involvement as factions in the old world. So I don't understand why they don't have them in here. Skeletons have new zombies. They have new skeletons. Vampire counts. You have new zombies. You have new skeletons. You have all those brand new vampires. Some like them. Some people like them. Some don't. Whatever. Skaven. I don't think Skaven has anything really new. But that's okay because clearly they're putting out a lot of the older miniatures too. So why couldn't they just print more Skaven? I don't know. What are y'all saying over here? What are your thoughts on getting paper copies versus digital copies for your experience with 40K? I play 40K all the time, and I don't even have a 40K rulebook. So for 40K, all I use are the unit cards. There's like big unit cards, which are very handy. And then everything else is it's just online. So it was just using their apps. 40K has an app where you build your army list, and you can also use that app and search every single rule, which is great. And they also have like the FAQs on there too, which is really nice. Good question, Jonesy. Yeah, demons. Oh, duh. I don't think demons are even on the PDF. That I'm not sure about. I don't even think they're on, or not on the PDF. They're not even on the article that spoke about all the armies that are coming out. Only PDF factions, online only PDF factions says at the bottom of this article. Okay. Well, thank you. Okay, so this is new. Arcane Journal. So this basically is the army book for each faction. So you have a rule. So far, you have a rule book. So what's weird to me is that you have the Arcane Journal, which is like an expansion off of the Forces of Fantasy or the Ravening Hordes. So you have a rule book. You have this book. How many pages is this thing? Let's see. So you'll be carrying around a 352-page book, then a 192 or 160-page book, and then the Arcane Journal of it each. Hopefully, I think they talk about this will also be PDFs. I don't see that, but hopefully that is the case. So it's cool that they do have these expansions. So in 6th edition, that was the most supported edition of Warhammer Fantasy. You had all these white dwarfs with all these rules. You had the Ravening Hordes, which had all these rules. You had the annuals, which is like where the steam tank made its first appearance. and all sorts of rules in there. I think there was 3 of those. I think it was 2002, 3, and 4. One had like I think one had a steam tank on front. One didn't have Boris, did it? I think one of those books had Kislev, or that might have just been a White Dwarf. Basically, the 6th edition era had the most support from GW in terms of content, because 40K was still very popular, but fantasy was like at its heyday. Heyday, depending, whatever you want to say. So the Arcane Journal was pretty cool. It's a softback, so hopefully they do make a mini rulebook. But it has the more history, heraldry, maps. So this is where the special characters are. So that means, are they saying that there's no special characters in these books? Probably, because just like Ravening Hordes of old, they didn't have special characters in there. I'm questioning what I just said. I could go get it downstairs, but I'm not going to worry about it. So more magic items or just magic items? So in Warhammer's Armies project, there was an expansion of magic items, and the magic items in the expansion, since they were new and you wanted people to use them, were much stronger or just much cheaper. Undead Emperor. What are you saying down here? I'm concerned that the free PDFs have gone from being available at launch to now soon after. Track record, e.g., things like Demons for Heresy. Demons took 18 months in Heresy? Yikes. Oh, man. It took really 18 months? That's a year and a half to get Demons. Well, Heresy's different, so Fantasy hopefully doesn't take that long, because I know Heresy was specifically only supposed to be Marines on Marines, so I understand why it took them a long time. But is this new spells, or are these lore-specific spells? That's probably what that is. I'm guessing in the Ravening Hordes and Forces of Fantasy. I still don't like that name. God, it's gonna bother me. That they're lore specific. So I think one of the articles that talked about lore of the lady or something like that. I'm sure that's in the Kingdom of Bretonia Arcane Journal. A historical scenario. Historical scenario. So does that mean you could reenact, like, was it War of the Beard or something like that? That'd be cool. Or no, she's not alive yet. What's her name? Rapance. She's definitely not alive in this time, so they couldn't reenact like some of her lore-specific battles with Tomb Kings down in the desert. So what's cool is that here are the armies of infamy. I don't know. What'd you say, Christian? Special characters maybe pertain to different army composition list. So I don't know if special characters will pertain to that, but I know the armies of infamy. Well, I don't know, just from what I've read from previous articles, that the armies of infamy will likely not have the army requirements that the I think they're called Grand Army formations, I guess, will be required. So you're not required to take, hopefully, 1-minute arms unit / archer unit with Bretonia. So then with the armies of infamy, you could do a full cavalry list, or Tomb Kings, you could do like a full chariot list. Maybe even Brian, I don't know if you're watching, but I know you loved the Tomb King giant that let you take. It's like all the rare monsters and monstrous creatures went to special, and all the special ones went to core. So in Warhammer's Armies project, you could take a really badass giant special character who was weaker. They buffed him up a little bit, and you could then run Ushabti as core. It's pretty sweet. So then you're just running around with a whole bunch of monstrous creatures and stuff. It was pretty OP. It's pretty strong. Too strong in my opinion. But I do like that Armies of Infamy, so you can get some diverse stuff. Like, I want to see a whole. I love for the new. Oh, you know what? Let me change that back. I'm happy that you'll be able to run, hopefully, a full on-foot army for Bretonians. I know it's not what most people are looking forward to, but some people like it. Like, because I have enough to run that. So I do like the differences. I know we've all seen these already, but I'm going to show. So I really like her new stance. It's basically, I need new, guys, I'm going to get a new camera, okay? I'm going to get a new camera for y'all. So that's basically this one. Let me turn it this way. But she's kind of, I don't like that she's standing on leaves. She's like standing on a plant. It's a tactical plant. Instead of a tactical rock, she's on a tactical plant. I love it. Okay. So that's basically this one. Man, I wish I could get, Is it me? Am I in the way? Is it just focused on me too much? These are really well painted, so it's bothering me that I can't show y'all a little bit closer. But these are very pretty ladies. Okay. So you can definitely see the distinction. And I'm a pewter guy. I like metal. Metal. But whatever. Okay. Da-da-da. So Armies of Infamy. So scroll down. Let's see what they say. Bretonnian has the Exiles and the Errantry Crusades. I'm guessing the Errantry Crusades, that could be a lot of people on foot, because obviously the Crusades pulled a lot of peasants, and basically you pull nobility, and they would bring all their servants, everyone with them. So then you had a horde. It's basically a kingdom of heaven. So you still have a lot of cavalry, but you have a buttload of foot troops. Trebuchets and all that stuff. Cool. Yes, please. I would love to bring 10 trebs or something cool. It's not going to be possible, but whatever. So the Bretonnian Exiles, I think in one of the other articles, it talked about how that was one, you could take that as one of your vows. I don't remember what it does. I think, does anyone remember? I can't remember off the top of my head. No? Okay. Chat rate. What is this? Who cares? So Arcane Journal's Tomb of Khemri provides the Nehekaran Royal Host or the Mortuary Cults. Can we get a, what do we think the Nehekaran Royal Host is? Do you think that's just like a lot of Tomb Guard? Maybe a lot of Tomb Guard? Maybe a lot of the, what are the ones that are riding on the snakes? Necropolis Knights? I think that's it, Necropolis Knights. And Mortuary Cults, I don't know what the lore, could that could be all chariots? Potential. Okay, so here's one of the new ones. Not wanting to be outdone by the self-important, short-lived mortals of Bretonia, the venile and power-hungry royalty of so here's a royalty. She's probably good in the royal host. Royalty of Khemri have a handful of other new miniatures up their sandy sleeves. Ha ha ha. So this guy, an emissary, is carrying a flail, and I think it says the flail of like powered by the dead kings. Enchanted flail of conquered kings. Still don't know what's up with all the flails, but I love the rest of the model. Like, that's very cool. Very nice. Got a Torah with him, or like a sand, Dead Sea Scroll. It's got like a Dead Sea Scroll covered by all the scarabs. I don't know if he's reading like a proclamation or an emissary. Probably doesn't cast magic spells, but maybe some kind of ability to enhance troops, or he's reading off like, my will be done, or you shall not pass. He kind of reminds me of, which one? So he's not a Tomb King, a Tomb Prince on foot. I got a couple of those up here, just to brought them to show y'all. Lots of chariots, probably. So, okay, so this thing is sweet. The new BSB is pretty cool. See, another flail. Like, what is up with all these flails? I'll have to look at the old books to see if I can find the artwork where it had all the flails in it. Someone said that earlier. I think it was Gilthos. I don't remember. But that guy looks sweet. So this is the old BSB. It's still very cool looking, but the new one is, in my opinion, much better. So here is the. Okay, yeah. Sorry guys, I'm gonna get a new camera for y'all. Should have bought one on Black Friday or Cyber Monday or something. But that's the best you're gonna see for now. But that's the old one, and yeah, it's not super fancy like this guy. But it did its purpose. I like him, and they also sold one of these guys that rode on horseback, which again you would never take because the horses were terrible. I think you could put him on a chariot though, and that one's pewter because pewter is king. Well, I guess plastic's probably better, but I like pewter myself. It just feels more valuable. So these, let's see, did it say anything? Da-da-da-da. Yep, royalties are probably in that one pretty well. Okay, so what do y'all think of the new swarms? They kind of remind me of the old Wood Elf treekin. They are a swarm, but they look like they're magically enhanced. um, because it looks like a creature. You can see they all have a little bit of a face, like right there, maybe this one, and then these faces right here, and they're kind of leading. They did pay homage. This guy right here. Where is this? Where's this? Here he is. Brought a swarm up too. Uh, here he is. Da-da-da. You can kind of see him. they literally remade the swarm guy, which I think is hilarious. They made him right here. They brought him back, which I think is pretty funny. Um, the old swarms definitely. So the old swarms are full of spiders and scorpions and some beetles, but mostly scorpions, some beetles, and some bones. Mostly scorpions and beetles. So this one is just pure beetles. I don't see any scorpions. No, I guess I see one at the top of this one up here. This is like, choose which of these three pictures. They're three of the same, and choose the ones that are different. What'd you say? Hold on, let me make this a little bigger so I can see this. You really like the swarms. Okay. I mean, I'm not hating. It just seems I wish they were swarmed. They probably had to give them some kind of height, but there's no way these things have like a height of 0. So they're going to be much easier to shoot. So you should be able to hide them behind infantry, unless you're thinking of a swarm like remember in Game of Thrones? I know I'm going to talk about the 8th season. Sorry guys. Sorry Jonesy/Arya. But you know the swarm of the dead in that one was just a pile of bodies, like 8 or 10, maybe not 8 or 10, like 4 or 5 high, and it was just there was no like it wasn't a swarm of like zombies running. It was just literally a wave that crashed. So this kind of mimics what I see as like a wave. I still man, I don't know. It just seems weird that you know what they reminded me of? It reminds me of like what are they called? You see them in sci-fi all the time. Someone help me out. Nanobots. There you go. It kind of reminds me of, no one said it, but I got it. Kind of reminds me of like nanobots, of nanomites and all that other stuff, just like attacking like in little sections. They're not like just, that's what I see. They're still cool. I like the design. Well, I like everything inside of them. I like the bones. You see dead lizards, you see dead skeletons, some dead weaponry, stuff like that. Okay, hey, look at this. Stupid. I know I read this article earlier, but here you go. I forgot about this part. So the mortuary cult is going to have a lot of swarms. And I'm sure, okay, a lot of scorpions, scarabs. Okay, so I guess the mortuary cult is going to have much more of the monsters. Maybe not. It could have the reanimated stone, because this has reanimated corpses and necromancy. So this could be, if you're talking about like vampire counts, you're just raising a whole bunch of bodies, then you do mortuary cults. If you're just going for power hitting stuff, then you do probably the royal, what was it, the royal court or something? Royal heralds. Where is it? Someone help me out. Royal. Where is it? There it is. Nehekaran Royal Host. So that'll probably be a lot of hard-hitting stuff. The mortuary will probably be a lot more like skeletons on foot and stuff like that. So you can just re-raise stuff, have a lot more necromancy type things. Don't worry if you're more of a follower of Hashut. So this is interesting. This one, it talks about this. Don't worry about if you're more of a Chaos Dwarf player, Hashut, or Interpreter of the Great Plan, Lizardmen player. Legacy Army PDFs for the other 7 factions for Warhammer Fantasy Battles will be available shortly after launch. So hopefully it doesn't take them too long. I hope it doesn't take them, what'd you say, 180 days? No, you said 18 months. So not 180 days, 18 months. So I know it won't take that long, because I already know some people that are already building, or at least have purchased, a Lizardman army because they want to play it in the old world. Like, they are getting it ready. Same thing with Warriors of Chaos. They're starting to get them ready. Shoot, even Chaos Dwarves. I know people that are getting old pewter Chaos Dwarves ready. I don't know if they're getting them ready for the old world, but you could use them for both. So at least according to Setcher, we don't like to argue with him. I think this had to do with the the first thing we were talking about. Boxing Day, which is it's like a British holiday, if I'm not mistaken. Is there any other questions? Anything you want to talk about? Give me some. Give me something. Who's got a question for me? I can't answer stuff that has not already been revealed. So I'm not going to get in trouble. He was a special. Wait, he's a special character. He was in 8th. Who was a special character in 8th? Who was a special character in 8th that you're talking about? I know Bretonians are forced to take the BSB, but I don't even want to show you all the rest of these minis because this camera is so crappy. But I'll get a new one for you. I'm going to buy it right after this. Right before I play some Warzone or something, I will buy a new one. So let's see. So this fella. No, that's them. Wanted to show this guy. So who do we like more here? Do we like that? Or do we like this? Yeah. My personal preference would be this guy in my hand. I just think he's so classic. Burr, burr, burr. Love it. I just love this stuff. I love the older ones. But the only thing I'm definitely going to be picking up some of the characters. You have to pick up some of the characters. It's because I don't have them, so I need to add them to my collection. Someone on an old YouTube video asked for like a picture or maybe just like a video of all the armies that are in my case, and I want to reorganize them first before I just because obviously I play them, so they get pulled out and put out a lot, so they're not in like the most optimal order. But I think the new Pegasus, he looks pretty sweet. I still think it's hard to tell which one I like more. I'll have to build the new one. The new one is definitely going to be larger, and don't worry, he's just magnetized, so ease of transporting, because these things snap like crazy, and I was like, I'm tired of it. Why so many men-at-arms in Bretonian box? It's only 20. You think that's a lot, Christian? It's only 20 of them. I don't think 20 is too many. That's just, honestly, with how they showed the men-at-arms, that's probably not even going to be one unit. You might even need double that. Or at least, 1.5 times, so probably 30. I don't know if I'm going to want 30, like just 20 in a unit, unless it's just going to carry a wizard that's just hiding. I love the new Fae. The new Fae Enchantress is leaps and bounds. There's 36? No, there's not, you liar. There's 36 men-at-arms. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Oh, there's actually 24. It's not 36. Why are you getting 36? Well, how did I get 20? There's 12 plus 12 is 24. 24 is a good number because you do 24 and then well, it used to be. You take a 24 and you put a character in there, so now there's 25 and you got a 5x5 brick. Pretty easy. Read below the picture. Don't talk to me about reading. 36 Bretonian men-at-arms. Why wouldn't they show them all? Oh, because I'm an idiot, because there's 3 rows there. Because I can't count either. So there's 18, and then there's 18, so there's 36. So, hey, guess what? There's 36 of them. That's a great buy. Like, I think this box is probably better than this one because the 2 units of 8, like I said, the 2 units of 8, so 16 horses, I don't think, even with the new rules, unless they make cavalry really good, I don't think you will see them that much. So, and they sucked in previous editions, so I don't know if they're just like, hey, let's get rid of this stash that we've had for a while. I don't know how GW works with warehouses and stuff, but if they have a warehouse full of Tomb King stuff, it's a lot of cavalry. There's a lot of cavalry there. So, man, it is 36. That's okay. That's much better. All right, so here's the old Fae. I know y'all have seen the new one, but like, look at the difference. Like this face on this unicorn is awful. The Fae on this one is okay. Her face is very pointy, which leads to the elf. Led to her being an elf, which some That was added later, but the unicorn's face on this is pretty hideous. Um, Sorry, sculptor, but you did everything else is great, but the face is just pretty bad, and obviously the size is bad too. A unicorn would like look how big she is compared to the unicorn. Not even close. The horse should be much larger. So the scale of the new one is I can't wait to put her together, but I don't know when she gets released. I'll have to check that. Now the new Bretonnian king, I got that fella. Literally 3 ranks. Thanks, John. I see it, John, now. Thank you, John and Jonesy, pointing that out for me. Appreciate that. Where's the new king? I think I have a picture of him. Yeah, here he is. All right, so here's the new Bretonnian king. Can I make this any larger? There we go. Gorgeous. Looks incredible, right? And he is a complete homage or a paying respect, paying homage, something, to the old King Luen. God, I need to get a new camera. Urgh! This is going to bother me, but that's okay. So he's got the flat top helmet. I mean, that basically, it is King Luen that they made, even though he's not alive at this point. Supposedly, I would assume so, based on it being, I think it's like the 3 emperors. But I love the hippogriff. But he's riding a Pegasus here. He's not riding a hippogriff. So I don't know if they're going to have hippogriff knights in the new one. I hope so, because I have like 5 of them, and I would like to run them all converted. I had 5 Luens, and I traded away or sold the Luen part of it, and I put extra Grail Knight bits on it, so I can have, which I haven't actually run in a video yet, which I should do that. I put Grail Knights on top of the other hippogriffs, so it looks like he's got, I think it's 4, probably 4 or 5. So he has his like little retinue of hippogriff riders with him. It's pretty sweet. Thanks, John. Gosh, live stream math. Yeah, you're right. Well, it's not difficult doing live streams and doing videos and stuff like that, but it is time consuming. And you can miss things because you're excited, your adrenaline's pumping. It's like, oh, I want to show him this. I want to show him that. I want to show him this. And then, oh crap, I missed that. Now I look like an idiot. But I don't care. You think I care? I don't care. Let's see. Anyone covered? Oh, concerned that they have not mentioned releasing new bases if they are only bringing out Tomb King and Brets to start. How can people who don't want to play them actually start armies? I completely agree, John. I think they should have released like I think they have one. You can find them for 8th edition and even 40K. You can find lists of every single unit, from every single faction, and their base size next to it. I think they should already do that for Warhammer Fantasy, so people can either start rebasing their armies or start getting prepared. Meaning they can either buy stuff from all the other manufacturers that are out there. I don't know if GW is going to sell bases like GW bases and like bags of like maybe you buy a 50 pack of 25s or whatever, or a 50 pack of 30 by 60 or whatever. But I think they 100% should do that to allow the players to get started. They've already told them what armies are there, so people have brought their armies down from attics, etc., out of storage units, blow the dust off, and they want to get started. So yeah, or if they want to start making movement trays. If you want to, I wouldn't do that yet because who knows what size of units you're going to want to do, but at least the base sizes. If you want to buy them from China, if you want to get them from GW, if you want to 3D print them or what have you, I completely agree that they should start doing that because as they said in the article, which is, where did it say? It's like at the very bottom, I think. All this stuff now is to reveal the pre-order date for this avalanche in the world of legend. We've got a suspicion that it might be coming soon, quite soon, whatever. Keep an eye out for on Warhammer Community to find out exactly when. So usually, where is it? They talk about, oops. Was it in the old ones where they had at the bottom? It showed like article that's next. This was cool. I never talked about this one, but this is just a really cool a book that's being released. I think that'll be sweet. I'm gonna get it because, like, I mean, look at it. I mean, like, come on, that looks friggin' awesome. Which article is it? They had it at the bottom. At some of them, like, this is what we're talking about next week. I'm stupid. There it is. It's probably at the bottom of every single one, isn't it? You see, this is what happens when you live stream. If I was reading by myself, it'd be easy. I could be like, oh, there it is, right there. Army selection. They didn't even put combat phase, army selection. That was just mustering here. So this wasn't even on their list. Sorry if it's messing up on y'all's screen in terms of how fast I'm going. Or if y'all can even see it. There we go. So on this one, they don't have a, like what's next, what's coming next. But they said the next thing is the pre-order. Or at least they will reveal the pre-order date. So what my plan is to do, I'm going to do, as soon as the pre-orders are in, I think this is when I'm allowed to do that. I can run a demo day. Obviously, I can't say when that day is because, obviously. But as soon as that occurs at my local game store in Battlegrounds in Midlothian, Virginia, I'm going to run a demo day of the old world. So keep an eye. Hopefully, I'll probably do it on a Saturday because that's usually, I think, when pre-orders come in. So I think pre-orders for 40K it's like you pre-order 1 week and then it's the next week it arrives, or is it 2 weeks it arrives? So once they know the pre-order date, when the models and everything comes in, that's when I will do that. Okay. Putting your hand behind the model. Oh yeah, we're gonna test your theory. Test your theory. I think my camera is just that crappy. Let's see. That helped out a little bit. Nah, I just need a new camera. Thank you, John, though. Appreciate that. I'm just going to get a new one. It's, honestly, I probably do. It's just a really crappy piece of junk. Classic 5 things to do, but only cover 3 and talk about 4 things not on the list. Yeah, basically. Bases are as cheap as chips from China. I completely agree. I don't know how accurate they are. I've never bought bases from China before, but you can buy a ridiculous amount for cheap. Same with eBay, stuff like that. For the new game system, it should be 2 weeks pre-order. Okay, so if they, for some reason, let's say it's February 1st, then they would make it like February 14th or 15th as the delivery date, something like that. I know we're playing Catan tomorrow. I'm excited to play some Catan. I'll post a picture because Catan. Why does GW continue to show cav units 4x2 and never 5x2? Christian, I have no idea. Because ranks are still 5 wide. I would assume so. I think they are. I think they talked about that. They're still 5 wide in the old world. So I don't know why they continue to do this. So this was the old box. The old box was 8 cavalry, and they showed it 4x2. So who knows why? Oh my God, this dude cannot count. Shut up, John. Shut up. Hey man, math is definitely my special toy. When's the battle report for Johnny? I haven't gotten a game with him. That's the problem with Warhammer's Armies project. One, it's holidays, so it's still really busy for a lot of people. But I haven't gotten a game with them. There's only a couple local people that actually play Warhammer's Armies project. I think it's 2. Everyone else is like an hour and a half away or even further. So it's hard to get. It's hard to organize a game. Trust me, I'd love to. They're still sitting. They're not even. I haven't put them in the case yet. They are sitting outside on the shelf, ready to be played. I have my army list and everything. I am ready to roll. I think Alex might play me sometime this week. So then if we play this week, it would come out the following week. I can't wait to try him out. They look really cool in Warhammer's Armies project. Lots of magic, lots of stuff. But he's dwarf, so it should be interesting. Are the Tomb Kings cav 25 by 50? It sure looks like it. So if you look, can I zoom in? Let's see, can I zoom in on this at all? I'm do, hold on, get it quicker, get a little zoom in. It's not working too well, is it, boys? Nope, okay, that's the best I can do, I guess. It's getting larger. So, yeah, I'll do that. If you look at the horses and the skeletons next to them, those look to be the exact same size. Now, the angle could add or subtract millimeters to it, but those skeletons look like they're on 25s because there's so much extra room in between each body, and the cavalry look to be on 25s as well, which is interesting. Does that mean that all cavalry are on 25s? But when you scroll up, where you at, Mr. Bretonia? Bretonia, based on these two images right here, the horses are further away. I don't know if they took a picture and just photoshopped these in, but based on these pictures, even though they're further away, they still look slightly larger than the men-at-arms. So they're probably bigger, right? That's how it looks to me. Don't worry, Johnny. We'll get a game. I'll get a game for you. Jonesy, how many points do I want to play with the Zinch? I'd love to use the whole army, but there's no way I'm going to be able to do that because I think it's like 3,000. I mean, I'd play a 3,000 point game. I don't care. But I think the army is. Let's go to here. And voila, we did it. Zoom out. Probably 3,000. Sure, I'd play a 3,000 point game. I think that's what Alex wants to play, but I don't know. I like larger games, but it's definitely harder to get a larger game. But Jonesy, I want fully painted miniatures. I want fully painted armies, buddy. It's so much better. For YouTube and stuff, like you try and have a reputation of having fully painted stuff because when you put too much unpainted out there, I'm not saying it looks lazy, but it just doesn't look as good. Obviously, seeing two fully painted armies on the field makes the viewer have a more enjoyable experience. Some people don't care, but some viewers do. So it's just what it is. Bretonia are on 30 millimeters. It's in the Warhammer Community article. Good. Thank you, Johnny. I didn't want to say they're on 30s and then, say the wrong thing. So yeah, they're on 30s. So what a lot of people are guessing based on these articles, if the skeleton horsemen are on 25 by 30, does that mean light cavalry are on 25 by 50 and heavy cavalry such as Bretonia or like what's another heavy cavalry? Empire cavalry or Chaos Knights, are they all on 30s? And then would you think like Wood Elf what are they called? They're on Elven Steeds, but what are they called? Glade Riders. Are Glade Riders on 25s or are they on 30s like these? So I don't know where GW is or how GW is making these decisions as to what's on a 25 and what's on a 30. I'm sure they have plenty of 20. Maybe they have so many 25 by 50 cavalry bases over, and maybe the skeleton horses are so bad they wanted them on smaller bases so then they could get more attacks in. Because obviously, if you're a smaller base, you have more guys in the front. But even though the whole front rank's going to swing now. So I don't know. That's going to be weird too. Doing the math, 4 cav at 30 millimeter are 120 millimeter, and 5 infantry at 25. So if there are 4 units the same, the calves are probably 30. Yes, I completely agree. I wonder if there's going to be a maximum size to the lance. I think in 8th edition, the max you could have in a unit was 12, not including characters. I think that's right. So this is 6. So then you could have a unit of 4. You couldn't have 5 more. That'd be way over. But I don't know. Maybe there's no unit size restriction in this one. I don't know. Any other questions? Y'all like the blue? Some people like the blue. I like the I like the emblem. It would have been cool to see a comet in the background because I think have all the editions had comets? Warhammer Fantasy 5th edition rulebook. What about 5th? Fantasy. That's definitely 8th edition, not 5th edition. Should I be in Google? Is that what's killing me? Probably. I like Brave. I used to use DuckDuckGo, but then that got sold, and they're not as secure anymore. Warhammer Fantasy 5th edition rulebook. There it is. No, that's 6th edition. That's 5th edition. No, that's 7th. This is the 5th edition one? Yeah, this is the 5th edition one. Okay. I just want to see the image. What are y'all doing to me? Give me a big one. More tools. Size large. Give me a large one. Killing me. Whatever. But that's the 5th edition rulebook. Okay, so that just had High Elves and Orcs on it. Okay, so it wasn't until 6th edition when they started adding Galmaraz on the front. 6th edition, 7th edition, and then 8th edition had it as well. But I just looked. 6th and 7th didn't have the comment, so it was just 8th edition. Okay. I assume that's the comment. Yeah, that's the comment for sure. What else? The blue is growing on me? Yeah, blue grows on people. Or just gets completely rejected and shit on. You know, it's whatever. It's whatever, you know. There's someone that was constantly shitting on me on one of the someone took a screenshot from a different vlog I did with, and they was just constantly talking trash. It's pretty funny because whatever, I don't need to get into it. Okay. Part of my concern with 3 books is that based on 40K, they will just update the rules and units quickly to balance the game. Yeah. So they did do that with 40K. And based on what I have read for I'm not going to say. Okay. Yes, that is a worry that I would be concerned with. So it's great that GW will update the rules and stuff. If like the community is like, hey, this rule is dog water, or this rule is way too weak and no units can use it, or what have you, that they will update that quickly. But like Chris said, putting out these rule books and buying these rule books, or buying what do they call them? They're not tomes. No, they do call them tomes now. Isn't that the Age of Sigmar name? Tomes? Okay. So in the tomes or these arcane journals, if they have to update points, okay, that's what I hope. I hope that they just update the points of the units and not the actual rules of the units. So hopefully they wrote the rules well enough. They're well constructed enough that they won't have to do that, because changing the points is no big deal. But when you have to start changing like weapon skills and like the actual stat line of the dude, or actually even changing points would be a problem, because a lot of people still like to hand write their army list. So if they're using outdated books, well, hopefully, like with 40K, where's my phone? I'll show. So for 40K, you use an app. It's called Warhammer 40K. And skip. So I don't know if y'all have seen this. You probably won't be able to see it very well. But here's the app. You can basically make. No, you can't see it very well. Basically, here's your army list. I only have 2 open because when they made this. But here's your army list. You can like click the plus sign, and then you can add any unit you want. And when you, let's say you add a unit, you go back to the reference thing. You can see your army. And what's cool is you can click like this, and it shows. You can't see it because my camera's trash, but I'll get a new one. You can see all their stats, and then you can like read all their abilities. Ooh, no, that's better. You can read all their abilities and everything. See their keywords, composition. You can add more, subtract, all that stuff. So they might eventually do that for Warhammer Fantasy. I hope they do. That would make it much easier. You can still use Battlescribe. Battlescribe is great for both 40K. You can still use it for 40K right now, and you can use it for Warhammer's Armies Project and 6th edition, because Ergo Fargo on Facebook, him and I think one other have been constantly keeping up the 6th edition, making sure the bugs are gone and fixing everything. And then there's maybe 2 or 3 for Warhammer's Armies project that are constantly having to update it because Matthias is changing rules here and there for the good, mostly. So outside of the fluff, the book just changes. Yeah, I'm worried about that too, man. I'm worried about it. We have 41 people. What's up, guys? Say hi in the chat. 41 people. There wasn't even 41 people at Nova. I think there was like 28 of us or something. Say hi. I want to get to know y'all, especially if y'all are local or if I run big events at like Nova or maybe not Adepticon this year. I'm hoping. Hey, Dylan. What's up, dude? Hey, look, you want some new Tomb Kings to base? What's up, John? So I'm interested for Adepticon. What's up, Marco? I don't know who is in the States, but I'm hoping that at Adepticon, I hope these rules come out sooner rather than later, as they said in the article, because I was talking to the TO Ben of the Adepticon tournament, because he's been running, I think it's 2 years now, it'll be 3 upcoming. He's been running 8th edition tournaments with some changes, like some rules brought over for WAP, basically to make it, I think Steadfast got changed, Disruption got changed, some other little things here and there, but they were good changes, good updates. What's up, Marco? What's up, Coyote? Rebasing some Wood Elf skirmishers. You know, that's the only model that I might actually have to rebase is all of my skirmishing units. Because based on the articles, the base size is very important. And you can't run them on in movement trays, obviously. Where you could buy like, I think, is it Hordes or something that comes like a big circle and there's like squares just here and there. But whatever. Without spoiling anything, what are your thoughts on the rules for weapons? What do you mean, my thoughts on the rules for weapons? You mean that strength no longer like does a thing, and as you can see from like the lance, I think in the previous article, it has like -2 armor, and it might also have armor bane. So basically, this extend your movement trees for blah blah blah. Yeah, nice. Wood elves are sweet, man. Fear the forest. Pat, I kind of like it. Some people like the old system of strength changing your armor save, and I don't think that's very confusing. I think adding a specific AP to every single weapon makes you have to learn every single weapon's AP instead of it just being a flat strength modifier. So it was definitely easier in the older system because now you're going to have to know what every single weapon does every single time you attack, which isn't that bad because obviously you will just get it, eventually. But initially, it's definitely harder for newer people. Hi from Canada. We have the Old World Tournament at the Grand Clashes in Quebec. Sweet. In April 2024. What if the rules aren't out by then? What are you gonna do, Johnny? What would happen, Johnny? If the rules aren't out by April 2024, what system will you do? I've never heard of the Grand Clash in Quebec, but anyone in Canada, keep an eye out. Go to there. Extender movement trays. Jonesy, stop asking questions. Gosh. No, you're great. I appreciate it. Thank you. Really. He's probably like, he probably wants to be in this box down here. I'm sure he does. He's like, I want to be. I felt like just doing it by myself this time. But I'll get you in on the next one. Maybe Christian would want to join too. Mm-hmm. Marco, where are you from, Marco? In summary, what are a couple of changes that you are most excited for? That the old world isn't dead, in terms of GW's eyes. Not dead is good. Changes. That they brought unit strength back. Great. I think they say that in one articles. I hope so. From Michigan. Okay. How far are you from Adepticon? Hopefully not too far. Yeah, y'all would get that video taken down for sure. With Jonesy's laughing from his nose and Christian's cackling. We're gonna play some Liar's Dice tomorrow, that's for sure. After Catan. I'm not sitting next to Christian. He's the worst. What are you building, John? Hobgoblin Spearman that counts as Gobbo Spearman. Oh, are you building the Age of Sigmar Hobgoblins? Those work great as goblins, or like they look really good. So one of the guys at Adepticon, he would run them as his Chaos Dwarf Hobgoblins, and they fit in perfectly. But okay, so hopefully the rules are out in time, and then Ben can run an old world tournament at Adepticon, which I think might be, that's in March. That would probably be the first old world tournament. And I don't know if he has time to make it a GT. I think the 8th edition tournament, has that been a GT or just a RT? Is it just 3? Yeah, I think it's just 3 because a lot of the people also like to play 30K and 40K and even Heresy, which I just said 30K, whatever. What's up, Ryan? Ryan, you are kind of local, wearing some t-shirts and stuff. Hobo Grotz, I like it. Cutting weapons off and giving them spears and shields. Okay, I like it. What did it say? Oh, Baltimore, Maryland. Arcane Journal seemed cool. I could see them doing vampiric bloodlines or maybe mono god chaos stuff with those. Definitely bloodlines. I think bloodlines were in 6th or 5th edition, and then they skipped. I don't even think they were in 7th, but they weren't in 8th. They brought them back in WoP, and they're awesome in WoP. Basically, the strongest one is the Blood Dragon, obviously. But because he just slaps. Oh, why'd I say that? Ugh. He hits very hard in combat, as he should. I don't know what else, Jonesy, for your question before. I don't know what other questions I have, or not question, or things that I'm really looking forward to. I hope they brought back US. I don't know if they said in the article. I really hope they did. Oh no, yeah, they did. I think it's when they have some of the unit details. I'm cool with that. I'm liking that they didn't go the 40K route, and so 40K, when you make an army, if you want a unit of like orc boys, wog. If you wanted a unit of orc boys, you take 10. You can't take 11. You can't take 12. You have to then take 20. So it's every 10. Same with Grots. You can only take 10 or 20. There is no in between. So I really enjoyed that part of fantasy back in the day because that just made you theory craft and list craft like crazy. So you can spend hours writing lists, especially if you're doing it by hand compared to like Battlescribe. So the game isn't only on the field, it's also making an army list. So when you have a more complex system of making an army list, it just gives, it's like more fulfillment, and it's just a not more diverse avenues, but more, I don't know, in my opinion, it's more fun to be able to army list craft like that. It's very easy to do in 40K. Most factions have a 1 or 2 builds, and that's basically it. But for Warhammer Fantasy, I hope for the old world, or what do they call this? What's this called? This like something of legend, time of legend. Hold on, where is it? World of Legend. Oh, I am going to claim a new phrase. I heard it on the radio. It wasn't the same phrase, obviously, but I'm gonna say, "What the fantasy?" instead of "What the beep." What the fantasy? I'm gonna use that. I'm gonna start using that. I'm gonna coin it. It's coined. Ching, blues coined. What the fantasy? Ba ba. I'm gonna say it if I remember. Excited to see Warhammer. What are y'all excited for? Like, what is something specific that you missed from 8th edition that wasn't maybe an older edition, or if you only played in 8th edition, what are you looking forward to back with? Other than the world being like alive again, what are you looking forward to? Like, it's very different from Warhammer's Armies Project. It's very different from the Ninth Age, which is supposedly is very balanced. So, like, what are y'all looking? And what are the other ones? Conquest, and there's another one where it's Kings of War. So, what are you looking forward to specifically rules wise? Armies coming back, fluff coming back, awesome. But what rules wise are you specifically excited for? I'm gonna watch, see what else. Dylan, you said something earlier. I can't remember what you wrote. Let me go back. Something about basing. I don't know, but I'm glad. Hopefully you come back too. I know you have plenty of stuff. Excited to see Warhammer fans come back. I wrote 2 fan campaign books from 8th edition, Conquest of the Lesser Empire. Oh, yeah. You haven't had anyone to play in 8 years? 7 years, sorry. Come on, man. See, that's what I hate. I hate that. I don't hate. I don't detest. I don't loathe. It just makes me sad that people had stopped playing fantasy after the end times only because GW stopped supporting it. All the rules are still there. You still have your old books. You still have your old armies. A lot of people don't play a game if GW is not supporting it. I don't understand that completely. I get the enjoyment of having new content created by GW, advancing the game, advancing the system, advancing the lore, fluff, whatever. But everything is still there, so you could still play the game. It's as if because they stopped making new monopolies, are you not going to play Monopoly anymore? Just as throwing that out there as a reference. So hopefully hopefully that'll give you enough people to play. But what I do suggest is Banhart is post in like Warhammer the Old World Facebook groups, like all those Facebook pages being like, hey, I'm in so-and-so location. Who's around that wants to play? Does anyone want to play even an 8th edition game to warm up, or a 6th edition game to warm up for the Old World? Or if you just want to start having a community, start adding people to a group chat that are local to you within an hour, and just start talking shit to each other. That's how I did it. I just made a group chat, started talking to people. We started, I don't even know how I met some of them. There's a lot now. And it just kept growing and growing, and it's still growing. Ryan's a new one. Ryan, and he's got like 4 or 5 buddies that are playing too, so they're going to hop in, and they're all local. So you just have to keep at it, keep adding, and even if you don't play games, even if you only play games once a month, that's still fine. Just keep talking about rules, army list, lore, fluff, whatever. Keep people engaged, and then shoot, if you really want, get a phone with a decent camera and start filming, and then or just taking pictures, posting it online, be like, hey, we're playing in so and so. If you want to play with us next month, hit me up. And then you might get a couple messages, and then more people want to play, and just that's how it starts. You just have to take some pictures, but it's sweet. I've seen your I think you're the one that I saw that had the Conquest of Lustria and the Princes, or Pirates of Saratoga. I think that's you. So, and they are sweet. They really remind me of like an 8.5. It's basically they could fit in the old world, you know? That's okay. That's one thing I'm going to miss about Warhammer's Armies Project is how many army books there are. There are a ton of army books. There's like 30. Any single army slash faction that had rules or fluff in an older edition, it's there. You want to play Vampire Ghost? You want to play some Undead Pirates of Vampire Ghost? Go for it. You want to play Cathay? You want to play Amazons? You want to play Call Cult of Uruk, you want to play Kislev, you want to play Albion, you want to play Cathay, Napan, there's like 30 army books you can choose from. End, you want to play Kingdom of End. So that is what I'm going to miss if there's only going to be, how many you got? Let's see. So there's 9 factions. Is that what they're saying? Is that right? So there's only going to be 9 factions. So I'm basically going from 30 different armies I can see on the field, or different factions, to 9. With a lot less unit choices too, because a lot of the units from old lore, all of them were basically put in the army books for WoP. So you go from less factions and less units. But this is the plus side. You get twice or 3 times as many players. You just get flooded with players, which is great. And the game, this is mostly about the community, in my opinion. It's not about the game. It's not about the lore. It's not about building armies. It's not about building minis. Maybe it's about that. It's not about GW. It's not about other third party or other alternative things. It's about being gamers, playing with friends, having a beer, having some chips, rolling some freaking dice, and having a laugh, like rolling boxcars or snake eyes. No, that's the best part. But okay, maybe it is a little bit about building minis and stuff. Taking your mind out of reality and going into fantasy, because clearly people need a break from the real life stuff. And this helps. Like, it's just like playing a video game. If you're listening right now and you're hobbying, it's, equivalent to playing a video game and just not going brain dead, but you're focusing on something else that you enjoy. So clearly we all enjoy this, even if we're masochists and we lose all the time and we enjoy losing, or we suck at painting, or we suck at building. We still do it because we still enjoy. When I say suck, obviously it's subjective, whatever. But it's about playing the game. Playing the game, playing with good people. What are you saying, Jonesy? Best thing this does is it adds a reason for people to play fantasy. GW officially supporting it allows people to realize this game isn't a fad or someone's gamer ADD. Yes. So I won't say names, but I was just told like an hour before going live that, hey, I was trying to get someone into the game, into Warhammer's Armies project, but he could never get into it. But now that GW is bringing, fantasy back, he's probably going to start again. And I'm like, great. I wish he would have played with us for the past couple years, but because he's a great guy. But now I get to play with him again. It's going to be awesome. So it's a bummer when people don't play, because it's not supported by GW, but now it is. So I hope we get all the players. I know people that I played, that I initially started gaming with, 15 years ago. Shoot, it's probably more than that. 25 years ago, and they haven't played fantasy since 6th edition or 8th edition, and they're coming back. So that's why it's cool. Just because it's now, I tried to get them into Warhammer's Armies project, but I guess when GW is not supporting it, a lot of people will fall out because they just don't think it's worth it, because for whatever reason. But so I'm glad. Thank you, GW. Thank you. Thank you. Obviously, I hated that y'all blew up the old world. Right? Everyone does. Everyone does. But the fact that you're bringing it back at least shows whoever is deciding or making the decisions up there is like, I miss the old world. What if we brought that back? And that's probably how the conversation started. Just a little nugget in someone's head, and they just talked about it to someone else, and it just started spreading. Chris Jones, great point. I'm one of them. Yeah, Dylan, same. You have, I don't even know what armies you have. Or what armies you're going to run. Any more questions about the most recent article? I got to go feed my dogs. I'm sure they're hungry. But they can wait. Fantasy, man. Fantasy is important. WoP is amazing. Yes, Brad, I completely agree. I never got to play fantasy. When I started the hobby, I was 200% 40K. Then I then when I was ready to start, they switched to AOS. Yeah. So I kept going with the mainstream. I hope for a great game. That's cool, Johnny. That's about right. Um, there's a couple people that I know that were doing the same thing. They were getting a fantasy army ready, and they had just put stuff on the square bases, and then they blew up the old world, and now everything's on circles. And they said that you could use squares, but then eventually you had to rebase stuff. So if you had like a 200 model count army, you're just like, I just did all this work and I have to redo it because y'all's are just like, hey, new game. So I completely understand that. What are you gonna start, Johnny? No, Coyote. Was it Coyote that's doing what else? No, it wasn't Coyote. It was. Where are you? No, it was you. Yeah, you were talking about what else. That's right. Dylan, what'd you say? The Team of Legends PDF for Blood Bowl game gives me hope that they will at least slap some profiles together for models that exist once the game is off the ground. The Team of Legends PDF for Blood Bowl. I didn't know. I don't know what that is. I was never a fan of Blood Bowl. If I was gonna play fantasy, it would be like more Mordheim. If I was gonna be a specialty game, Mordheim, not Mordheim. Mordheim. I loved Mordheim. Um, slap some profiles together for models that exist once the game. What do you mean by that? Some models exist for the game off the ground. You mean like Age of Sigmar models that they will bring into the old world? I know where Matthias did that a lot for WoP. That was very cool. I appreciated that, and I'm sure a lot of Age of Sigmar players appreciated that too. It probably helped some convince to start playing that. What's up, D6 Wounds? From London. What state in the U.S. are you guys in? I'm in Virginia, south of D.C. by a few hours. Most of us that play here on the East Coast, Mid-Atlantic, or whatever you want to call it, it's all the way from, I think, North Carolina, and we go all the way up to Maryland. But we do have some in Pennsylvania. We got some in Colorado that have flown out, like all sorts of people. So it's awesome. Pat Gray, you're in Tennessee? Nice. Okay. How far would you travel for an event? If it's like a 2-day event, would you come out to Nova? Nova next year? I'm definitely going to be running the old world. I'm sure it's still going to be supported. Shoot, I could do an old. So the problem is, I've been asked for an Adepticon a couple times to run a WoP event. The problem is, if you start running a WoP event and an 8th edition event, you're going to steal players from each other. And I don't know really the WoP community out there, so I'd be hard pressed to get too many players, and I don't want to pull people away from the 8th edition tournament. So I didn't want to run both. So at Nova, I probably will only be able to have one event, one GT. So hopefully the old world is successful and it has a ridiculous amount of people. So then we will fill out. But it's almost 7:30 now. I've been on here for about an hour and 20 minutes. You're from Ontario, Canada, working on some bases for the new army while listening. Well, I think listening is coming to an end. Dogs can be fed. I got nothing else to say. Any last minute questions? Give me one more question. One more question. I can't spoil anything, so don't tempt me, because it's hard to resist. But don't tempt me. Now that they at least showed these books and everything. Sorry, GW. I'm still not a fan of the swarms. I think they just look so. Just not a fan of the swarms. BSB sweet. I might not give him the flail. This guy's sweet. I would take the flail away. Where are the Kopeshes? I like the Kopeshes. Kopeshes are sick. I might be mispronouncing it. Obviously, all the Brets are cool. He looks cool. His helmet's sweet. One more question. Give me one more. Someone give me one more. I still think that. Now, a lot of people are worried about. So we were talking about rules being updated. A lot of people are worried about the army, like the models themselves, being updated. they're putting out all these cool skeletons. Sorry, re-releasing all these skeletons and cool new big models. But Vampire Account's got all these brand new skeletons. So do we think in like a year that they're gonna re-release a whole bunch of new Tomb King skeletons? I mean, they could. These models are old. They're like 20 years old, so it's interesting that they repackaged them. But if the game is successful enough and people buy thousands of these boxes, they could easily remake the skeletons for Tomb Kings, and then all these people will be pissed because, like, why didn't they do that before? Why not wait? Why not hold off the old world for like another year or two? I'm not saying they should, like they've talked about it for years now, but why not? If I think a majority of players would say, I would rather wait a year and get sorry, people that aren't playing other fantasy games right now and don't have an army and are just getting back into the game and are exclusively playing 40K or Infinity or what have you, would probably rather wait a whole year for the old world than to buy all this stuff, build, paint, and then a year later have brand new miniatures come out to replace all the old ones they just worked on. I'd be a little peeved, but since I'm not in that state, I'm okay with it coming out now, obviously. All right. No more questions? Someone asked me a question. Unless I'm just missing it. Am I just missing it? Maybe it's on Facebook. Hold on. I forgot I'm live on Facebook. Hey, sorry, Facebook. Haha. Am I live still on Facebook? I don't even know. I've tried to go on Facebook too just to see if that does anything. Oh, there are some comments. Beastman! We forgot Beastman! Oh, what's up, Roberto? I don't know if you're still here. So good to me. I don't expect everything launched in one go. The main test will be the quality of the game rules. Yes, Paul. Completely agree. I don't know who's still watching from Facebook. Hopefully I'm proven wrong. Blah, blah, blah. I have zero expectations of GW doing a good job for the Warhammer Fantasy relaunch. Absolutely zero faith. Woo! Zero faith in them. Interesting. I have stayed cautiously optimistic, even with the things that I have seen so far. I'm still cautiously optimistic. So even if it brings enough people back and we all want to play WoP because for some reason this edition sucks or whatever. So good to me. Cool. Okay, what else we got? Family Fantasy Gaming Studio. What's up, dude? Are you going to rebase all your armies? Ha! No! I have like 100,000 points of painted Warhammer Fantasy. I am not rebasing. This is how much I'm rebasing. 2 zeros. I am rebasing 2 zeros worth of Warhammer Fantasy. I might be lying. The only thing I might have to rebase is putting my skirmishers into inserts. Is that rebasing? It's kind of adding bases. It's not rebasing. It's just adding bases. So that's what I'll probably have to do. We have all the armies of Warhammer Fantasy, at least 20 to 30K of each. You have 20 to 30,000 of each army. Woo! I'm only at so my goal is to get 10,000 points of every army. The only armies I'm missing are, let's see, or at least 5,000 points. I think it's mostly 10, but at least 5,000, but it's mostly 10. The only armies I'm missing are Beastmen, High Elves, and Lizardmen. For Lizardmen, I'm torn because I used to have an army for Lizardmen, and I used to play the crap out of them. I played them in Ardboys, and I won 2 rounds of Ardboys with them. This was like the last year. And it was a sick army. I don't need to go into the details, and it was gross. But I don't know should I rebuy the old Lizardmen? They're probably really easy and cheap to find. Maybe not easy to find, but at least hopefully cheaper. But the new Lizardmen are so pretty. The problem is they would stand out so much compared to the rest of my display case, because all of my display case is models all the way from 3rd through 8th edition. Mostly pewter, as much pewter as I could get. So do I put the new Age of Sigmar stuff next to them? They're still Lizardmen. They're still gorgeous. So it's basically, do I care enough for them to be the old ones or the new ones?
I don't know yet. I completely agree. The new Lizardmen are freaking fantastic. But yeah, Fantasy Gaming Studio. Y'all have a YouTube, right? Like, what am I thinking here? If you have that many, Fantasy Gaming Studio. Follow, hey, everybody, follow and like all the people that are streaming and stuff. It helps them, even if they don't get like money from videoing. Like I get nothing from this, but I get enjoyment. I get to talk to y'all. I get to like spread the community. Like, come on, this is awesome. Uh, oh, and Dogs of War. I guess I technically don't have Dogs of War. You know, I had a buttload of them, but I sold them. I shouldn't have done that. That's stupid. Movement trays should help not have to rebase. Yeah, downvoting people. Downvoting people. That's your name? All right, I like it. I completely agree. I think the only thing I'm going to do is get new movement trays. So no new bases except maybe inserts for skirmishers, so it works properly for how they work based on some of the articles. But I am not going to rebase a thing. It's just going to be all movement trays, which are very easy. I've already seen some very good designs. People have been posting files and stuff for 3D printed, and that's probably what I'm going to do. Because I can't like take balsa wood and make new trays because still the spacing. I guess I could put strips in between each thing. Um, it'd be what, like 2.5 millimeters, because then if you go from 20 to 25, so 2.5 on each side, I could do that. But 3D printing just seems so much easier. And then you just cut a magnet sheet, glue it to it, and you're good to go. Real base. Hold on. Barhammer. Rebase. Real nerds without respect for their money simply start a new army. Yes. If you have no respect for your money / wallet / bank account / family / significant other, yeah, just start a new army. F it. And these what, 1,250 points for, I think people are spectating. These are posts online. This is not me. About like $200 to $300 for these boxes. You're still going to need a couple characters and then some other units, probably whole new units. So you're going to spend anywhere from, let's say, 300 minimum, probably 500. Let's just say $1,000. Like if you want a good army, you're going to spend $1,000. That's a chunk of change for a fantasy army. You have about 3,000 points of Dogs of War. Badass. I love Dogs of War. Very cool. I'm abandoning just to learn to repaint. It's fair. I completely agree that the new Lizardmen are incredible. So are the new Warriors of Chaos. Like I just had Mouse Killer Miniatures, awesome painter and a good dude on Instagram, paint a bunch of Warriors of Chaos for me, and they look freaking sick. But am I going to buy some of the new Lizardmen or the new Warriors of Chaos stuff? It's definitely tempting because they look great. Let's see. We're soon to start a channel. Hell yeah, man. Let me know. Like, where are y'all based out of? Fantasy Gaming Studio. So not much up. Oh, Denmark. Okay, maybe it's a language barrier. Denmark. That's cool, man. Intro vid and some showcases. Get started. Honestly, just film. Even if you don't put them up, just at least have some videos on hand. In Fredericksburg, are you doing any more tournaments in Fredericksburg anytime soon? Sure. Well, this is what I'm hesitant to run any more WAP tournaments um until the old world comes out. I could do one last hurrah, you know. Let's see, it's December. So I could run one in January, but I think I might run some sorry. Bleh. I might film some battle reports for Warhammer's Armies project before the old world comes out. But I don't know if I'm going to do another WAP tournament. But is there someone you want to play there? Roddick. I don't know who you are. Message me on Facebook. Are you, if you're in the Fredericksburg area, or if you're in the DC, Maryland area, maybe I already know you and you just have a different name on YouTube. I don't know. But if you're local and you're not, and you already have an army and you're ready to play some games, I can add you to the chat. There's people who are already talking about running an event at Huzzah, and at some point, I don't know when, probably next year, which is obviously a month away, not even a couple days away. Sheesh. You're in DC, dude. Message me. Let's go. See, look. I don't care. I forgot who I was talking to earlier, but the guy who hasn't played in like 7 years because the community died. You see? Talking to one guy. Boom. Roddick. Get him in here. Let's go. Chronicles of Roddick. Let's go. Not even a week away. I know. Crap, it's coming on soon. Okay, everyone's New Year's resolution should be to build and paint a new army. Yeah. Screw the wallets, right? Roddick. Oh yeah, so if you find me on Facebook, it's either going to be Square Space Hammer or Square Hammer No Space. You can either message the page or my profile, whichever one you want to do. Wait, who are you? Who is downvoting people? The person. Your Huzzah is close to you? I have run an event I have run fantasy at Huzzah before. It's been a while. I think it was pre-COVID. Or it was just post-COVID. It was, well, I guess multiple then, because I did pre-COVID and I did one post-COVID. Do I know you? Is your name just hidden? Say something. Oh, but Wog. We're gonna Nurgle Demons. Very nice. Oh, Beltway Gamers? Nice. Okay, so there's also plenty of Discords. There's all sorts of Discords for like local groups, just people that are just making Discords for local groups, fantasy specific, infinity specific, whatever. Like, so welcome. Glad for finding you. I'm glad you found me. You don't know me. Haven't played WoP. Barely learned Warhammer Fantasy 8 before the end times. See, that's what I'm saying, man. People were just starting to get in the game, or they were like just getting out of high school, and maybe they got the first or second job, and they have some extra cash, um, uh, some extra income, and they were just like, "Hey, let me actually start playing. I've always looked at this," and then they blow up the world. But they don't care about the little guy. It's okay. All right, guys. I'd talk more, but that's an hour and a half of me just blabbing on, and that's enough time for me. My boys are starting to go a little bit. I'm gonna feed the dogs, take them on a walk. It was literally just out of college. See, that's what I'm saying. Just out of college, and he's like, "I'm gonna play some fantasy." Back to circles. Thanks everyone. Thanks for watching. Thanks YouTubers. Thanks Squarehammers. Appreciate y'all. I do have a merch channel now. I just made a merch site. I'll post. Hold on, let me do it right now. Actually, you know what? I'm not going to do that because someone already ordered the shirts, and the shirt has a problem on the back, and it's not supposed to have that. So I have to talk to them and be like, "Hey, fix this problem because I don't want anyone else getting this." He says he's fine with it, so you know what? I'll send it. And either way, there's all sorts of other things. Like, you know what? I'm not going to do that. I'll post it later. I don't care that much. It's not a big deal to me. Okay. Love y'all, guys. Thanks for talking to me. Thanks for hanging out on this day after Christmas. For whoever celebrates it or whatever ever holidays, cool. 35 viewers, get the something up. Get the numbers up, probably. I can't see it. It's like blocked by a heart emoji. Get the likes up. Oh yeah, whatever. Like the stream, subscribe. All that crap. But I will share the merch site if you just want something that says Squarehammer. It's like a paint mug, hats, beanies, sweatshirts, hoodies, all that good stuff. So thanks guys. I will talk to y'all later. And then I push this button.